Good morning, YouTube. My name is Will.
Lotus. Enzo.
Welcome to another video. This is my Evo 8 RS, and today we're going to be talking buying modded Evos. So I've gotten this question multiple times. I got it twice in like a 12-hour span. So I figured it was time to do like a full video on it. Now, if you've been following along, you know that my Evo, I bought stock. I'm always a fan of that, obviously, if you can do it. I realize there are maybe at any given time 15 to 20 Evo 9s for sale and about the same Evo 8s. And of those 15 to 20, at least 23 of them have mods, and that's in the entire US. I mean, look at this map. The US is massive. I'm sure you know this, and even if you're not from the US, I'm sure you know this. It's a pretty big area. There's a lot of people, not too many Evos to go around. So let's talk about my favorite modded Evos for sale. It goes something like this. Evo for sale, thousands spent on mods, never driven hard, never raced, never seen rain. Also, motor is fully rebuilt by Joe. No idea who Joe is, but okay. Less than 2,000 miles ago. It's always 2,000 miles. So if we gotta buy a modded Evo, what do we do? Or if you wanna buy a modded Evo, what do you do? Well, you see the pictures online of the cars. They look good. But it's kind of like Instagram. Do you really think all those people look as good in person? Unlike Instagram, Evos are savable. There is no such thing, for all intents and purposes, as a bad Evo to buy. There's bad prices to pay, sure. But I venture to say that of all the Evos you could pull up for sale and show me, for the right dollar amount, I would buy them all. That would be an interesting story to tell the divorce judge. He bought all the Evos? Yeah, that's not good. And what's an Evo? So, while I will not be buying them, for the right price, they can be a good deal. What the... This guy has been doing construction on his house back here since before we moved in. I don't think he actually does anything, though. So, Doug DeMiro did a video today on the new Audi R8. Am I the only one that thought they stopped making that like 4 years ago? Based on the Lamborghini Gallardo, right? So, why would you still buy that car? Clearly, this construction is not going to end anytime soon today, so let's go on inside. All right, I guess we're doing this inside. The washing machine is running too, so hopefully that's not going to get picked up by the mic much. All right, so how do we determine if it's a good deal? It's really not all that different than buying any car. It's really just minimizing risk. And there's always going to be some risk. We just want to make it as low as possible. So we're going to start with the basics. Do a Carfax. They're not perfect, but at least it's something. If a Carfax doesn't show anything, it doesn't mean the car's never been wrecked. However, if the Carfax shows it's been wrecked, well then it's done the work for you. So do some basic things like that. Check the VIN stickers, make sure they're all there and they all match. Check for rust. Do a compression test. All the basics, cover your bases. You should be doing this on any Evo. However, with a modded car, we want to think worst case scenario. So my biggest fear with buying a modded car is that they are going to screw me over, either intentionally or unintentionally. I have met some people, and I'm sure you have too, are in the car community over the years. I've had conversations with these people, and they generally mean well. There is not a shred of doubt in my mind that they mean the absolute best. They are being 100% truthful. They truly believe it is a good car. And it is not. First and foremost, ask detailed questions. People like to say it has cams. Okay, great. What kind of cams? What size are they? It has injectors. Great. What size are they? What brand are they? It has an intake. What brand is it? All this simple stuff that seems obvious, but yet people don't really think about. I've had people message me, be like excited, like, oh, and it has cams. But then I find out it has crappy cams that are not crappy, but not worth the money, really. I just assume have stock cams, really, at that point. And all mods, there's plenty of mods out there like that. I see Evos for sale with front mounts where it's like, maybe I can sell that for $100 or something on eBay and put it towards a real one. Look for a consistency, a train of thought. I'm sure there's a reason behind this, but I'm not sure. But some things you'll see full 3-inch turbo back exhaust comprised of 4 different companies' parts. And it's really? Really? Why? Why is it not one brand all the way back? I know these companies make full exhaust. I find it hard to believe that it makes a difference to have a different high flow cat versus the axle back and the downpipe versus the mid pipe and just all this stuff. And it's like, maybe there's a good reason. Maybe they can explain it. But things like that kind of make me question. I'm not necessarily looking for them to have made the right decisions necessarily. I'm looking for them to have made conscious decisions. Oftentimes they'll have a binder full of receipts. Ask to look at them and actually look at them. Look at the receipts. Look at what was done. Look what was actually done. Because sometimes people say one thing and it wasn't. It was something else. And again, it's not that they're necessarily lying. They just may forget, honestly. So, check that stuff. Actually read through it and what's in black and white, because that's going to tell you better than anything. Stock parts matter. Some stock parts cost way more than you think they are. Some stock parts are actually desirable. Some, no, not really. But you want to have them. One, they can be a source of income if you want to sell them. Two, if things go completely sideways and you want to put the car back to stock or close to stock and sell it, it can sometimes be a pain to track these parts down, especially in like the 8s and the 9s, unless you want to pay super high new prices from like Mitsubishi. Modded cars especially might have little things creep up, little small things here and there. Are you going to have the ability to fix those? And that ability might be, are you mechanically able to fix those, or are you financially able to fix those? Do you have the time to fix those? I know plenty of people that they're very smart people and they're very good at it, but they just don't have the time, or they think they're good at it and they're not. So you got to be honest with yourself. Do you have the time, the money, the energy to fix any problems that might creep up? Is it going to be something that's going to bother you? As some of you may know, my Evo sat for like a year and a half. And I had a lot of stuff going on with my life that I purposely chose to ignore it, park it in the garage and just let it be for a while. But I was okay with that. I mean, I didn't like it, but I was okay with it because I loved the car and it was fine. Had that been like an STI or something, a car that I'm like, oh, it's cool and all, but I'm not like attached to it anyways, I would have been so frustrated. I would have wanted to sell it. I would have probably taken a loss or something, sold it for less than it was worth because I don't want to deal with it. With the Evo, I was fine. I was patient. I knew I would get to it eventually. I did, and I was fine with that. So if something were to happen with your car, how are you going to respond to that? Maybe you can't get it fixed right away. Is that going to bother you? Is it going to be one of these things that I just hate looking at that car and I want to sell it, and you end up selling it emotionally because you're just frustrated and fed up? So once you've figured all this out, done all this math, figured out worst case if you had to part it out and your own abilities, whether that's time or money to fix problems that may creep up, all that stuff, then you have to make the decision, is this something I'm willing to accept? Buddy, I know you want to play. I'm trying to do work here though. I got Enzo in on it. Yeah, you guys play tug together. And going back to how I said I was okay with my Evo sitting because I loved the car, it was what I wanted. You need to adjust your risk accordingly. I was much more willing to buy a high mileage, stockish car because it was an RS. If it had been a GSR, honestly, I wouldn't have cared as much. It was something about the uniqueness of the RS that was attracting me to it. It would have been the same if it had been an MR. Because I'd already owned a GSR, I wanted something different. I didn't care necessarily if it was an RS or MR, I just wanted a different one. And I know the RSs and the MRs to a lesser extent are harder to find. So again, when mine was sitting for a while, it was like, okay, I'll get to it. It's not going to bother me. Had it been a GSR that I really wasn't that attached to, I'd have been like, maybe I'll just sell it, take the money, I'll buy another one later or something. It's not that I would pay more because of the emotion. It's that I would pay less because of it. Does that make sense? Like, if you're like, I really want a blue Evo 9 GSR, but the one you're looking at is red Evo 8 MR, but it's a good deal, should you buy it? Well, if something goes wrong, you may be less inclined to care about it at that point. Where if it was that ultimate car that you wanted, you're going to be more inclined to fight for it and to deal with it. Again, don't confuse fighting with it and dealing with it with being irrational. It's actually the opposite. I find that if it's something you really care about and you really wanted, you're more likely to be rational and calm and patient. Whereas if it's something you just doesn't quite have your full heart into it, you're more likely to just be like, nah, screw it, let's just sell it. Then you've bought a modded Evo and you've lost a lot of money. You've sold it, you've become frustrated. Now you have less money than what you started, bad taste in your mouth, and you end up doing something stupid. All right, between Construction Joe back there and the washing machine and Lotus, yeah, you. I hope this video made sense. I hope you guys got some usefulness out of it. If you have any questions specifically, you can comment below or DM me directly on Instagram. If you're looking at an Evo to buy, you want to ask me some questions, feel free to do so. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow. And yeah, Lotus, I'll say bye.